Ladies and gentlemen, Geri Petito.
I'm not an addict, I'm just an ass. And in time, this too shall pass. I'm not an addict, I'm just an ass. Geri Petito taught the class. I'm not an addict, I'm just an ass. Loves the answer, the greener grass. I'm not an addict, I'm just an ass. One day at a time, free at last.
When you don't know just what to do,
Just what to do, just what to do.
if what you're feeling is really true,
Is really true, is it really true?
just keep your ideas safe and sound.
Safe and sound, safe and sound.
That's exactly how change is found.
Change is found, change is found. I'm not an addict, I'm just an ass. And in time, this too shall pass. I'm not an addict, I'm just an ass. Geri Petito taught the class. I'm not an addict, I'm just an ass. Loves the answer, the greener grass. I'm not an addict, I'm just an ass. One day at a time, free at last.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Geri Petito Show. Everyone and anyone who knows me knows I am the author of I'm Not an Addict, I'm Just an Ass. I'd rather be a smartass than a dumbass. Because, guys, 34 years ago, I was a dumbass. But today, 34 years later, through the grace of God, I can honestly say now I'm a smartass. And yes, the word ass is in the Bible at least 40 times, and it means donkey. And that's what I was. I'm saying all that to say this. There are a lot of people out there struggling. And I'm also a nutritional health coach, a recovery coach. All my services to you are free. Please, please reach out. I want everyone to know someone is listening. If you think my book can help someone, because I sure do, you can go right to Simon & Schuster's bookstore, Archway Publishing, BAM, Amazon, Barnes & Noble. You can go to my website, www.geripetito.com, because my book is now on audio with my voice, guys. So Simon & Schuster wanted to do it, but with someone else's voice, and I was like, absolutely not. So my producer, part owner of Hamilton Radio, owner of Iron Horse Films, Ruben Rodriguez, is now doing audiobooks. So if any authors out there are interested, reach out. Now listen, guys, if you truly, truly, truly cannot afford my book, please reach out to me about that as well. I'm here to help you. So before I introduce my star guests, let me give a shout out to a few of my sponsors. First, I've got Stormin Norman Selden, performing for live concerts and national events and promoter of shows. 732-245-4777, www.storminnormanselden.com. And for a lot of people out there who didn't know, he helped get Larry Chance from the Earls started back in the day. Remember the song? Remember then? We love you, Larry. You were like family. God bless you. And I know you're singing in heaven with Elvis, baby. So rest in peace, Larry Chance. Then we've got Ken Ryan and Linda Garofalo, The Way It Used to Be, singing songs from the 50s to the 80s, a tribute show to the greatest music and voices of all time. And Ken also sings Elvis for me. Thank you very much. Then we've got Michael D'Amore, singer, songwriter, performer, entertainer, www.michaeldamore.com. The guy is off the charts, okay? Please check him out. We've got John Monforto, the man of many faces, singer, actor, celebrity impersonator, and tribute artist. So I named him the man of many faces, but he was given the title by a former Philadelphia mayor as the official Philadelphia Rocky impersonator. Okay, www.johnmonforto.com. And guys, he does about 30 impressions, and they're all off the charts. So then we've got Michael Zanman, singer, entertainer, performer, www.mzanman.com. Guys, keep Michael in prayer. His cancer came back, and he's amazing. Just keep him in prayer, please. I was honored at emceeing the last few years at Let East, and I had Michael D'Amore. I had Zanman opening for Michael D'Amore. Last year, we got John Monforto into the mix. So Zanman recorded and put on Facebook one of Mel Carter's songs, Hold Me, Throw Me, Kiss Me, a couple years ago. Well, he didn't know it, but I sent it to my buddy Mel. Mel called me and said, your boy did a great job. I said, can you tell him? So here we surprised him with a three-way, and here's Mel Carter telling him he did a great job with his song. That would be like, Elvis calling me, right? So keep Michael in prayer, guys. And last but not least, John Bishop, a.k.a. Johnny B., singer-songwriter, host of the Entertainment Luncheon South, a nonprofit network created for the creative. Okay, he's also in the Joey D and Johnny B. Rockin' Oldies band, and he also performs solo. And I have to give a huge shout out to him and Linny for what they do once a month. It's by invite only. It's $20, great lunch, entertainment, and guess what? They don't keep a penny of it. And that is how I got to meet my star guest co-host today. Rick Saphire, say hello.
Hi, Jerry, and hi, everybody.
Hi, Ricky.
Oh, there's Gary Lewis. I know you personally.
So, well, okay. I was going to have you do this really incredible intro to our star guest. Well, that worked.
Well, it's done.
Okay. Yeah. Hi. Hey, I like that little story you told.
Oh, how?
I mean, about your book and
Oh.
about sobriety and all that. I love it.
Thank you. Thank you. Yep.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I have a different take on addiction. I can help people stay clean and sober forever and not stress over it. So,
Great.
Yes.
That's great.
so everybody, our star guest here, Gary Lewis from Gary Lewis and the Playboys. Are you kidding me?
Hello.
Okay. My producer's clapping. Listen, first and foremost, I have to say thank you to Rick for this introduction. Thank you to Gary for honoring me here today with this incredible interview. So,
Fine. Yeah, my
amazing,
pleasure.
Amazing. Before I have Rick take the mic, I just want to say this. You know, I'm 64. I say that for a reason. I was born in 61. But my music is all oldies, doo-wop, and Elvis. And I got to tell you something. I grew up thinking that your song was made when I was young. Okay, it was made earlier. And I was like, you know, I'm a teenager singing your song. We all were in our schools, the whole world, you know? So anyway,
Yeah.
this is amazing.
Honored.
Amazing. I'm honored. So, Rick, I'm going to have you take the mic for the first 10, 15 minutes. You do your thing, and let's hear what you have to say.
Well, first of all, I think Gary will appreciate listening to you saying that you're 64. Gary and I can do that standing on our heads. So, but
Yeah, it's
you-
a little harder now, though.
well, yes, it is. And once we stand on our heads, it's hard to get back on our feet. but
Gary,
we-
if he stands on his head, can I get a video, please?
Oh, yeah, no, I won't do it.
And I think it's quite amazing. The only thing is, I can't understand actually anybody actually holding their book up to a. Hey, part of it's disappearing. Yeah, so I don't think anybody should actually ever hold their book up to the camera unless they
Yeah.
want people to know about it. And by the way, I will tell you that Gary Lewis wrote a wonderful. A piece that's in my book, The Real Jerry Lewis Story. And I'll tell you about the first time I came in contact with Gary Lewis, and I didn't even know if Gary knows this story, but it was 1962, and I was in the Essex House Hotel in New York City with my uncle, Ernie Glucksman, who was Gary's dad's executive producer, personal manager, et cetera, et cetera. And we stayed at the hotel, the Essex House, with Gary's dad, Jerry, and Patty, Gary's mom. And it was, I just loved being with those people. And I was in Jerry and Patty's suite, and the phone rang. And Patty said, Ricky, can you get the phone? And I said, sure. And I picked up the phone, and I said, hello. And the voice said, hi, this is Gary Lewis. Can I talk to my mother? Well, that's the end of the story, but that's how I met Gary Lewis.
1 second,
That's
guys.
a
1
true
second,
story,
guys. I have to interrupt. Producer, you have to bring the lower third lower. You're covering. Okay, continue, Rick.
Well, I don't remember where I was. How was
in
the
the
lower
suite,
third?
in
though?
the suite.
Oh,
Yeah.
that was the story. That was my first contact with Gary. Now, I was over the years, and we will tell the audience for those who don't know, because a lot of people, even today, still don't know that Gary Lewis was the firstborn son of a comedian, fundraiser, Jerry Lewis. And it's interesting because people even today will say, well, I didn't realize that. And that was sort of by design, because when Gary began his music career, he wanted to do it on his own. but he did have somebody really, really talented and really good to help him begin his career. And it was somebody who also had quite a career in music, and that was his mom, Patty Lewis, known to the musical world as Patty Palmer. Um, and it was actually Patty. I even have a copy of the original contract signed by Patty, where she managed. She was, in essence, the manager of the band. And if I get anything wrong, I'm sure Gary will correct it.
Oh yeah.
And and
Don't fail to mention that she didn't take 10% either.
more than that.
No.
Oh, she didn't take anything.
No,
Oh, okay.
she loved me.
Oh, I know she. And she fed you too. And she did all those things. And your father was out of town anyway, so it didn't
Right.
matter. But yeah, so no, it was Patty, I believe, who got Gary hooked up Gary for their first appearance at Disneyland in California, not to be confused with Disney World, which didn't come around till years later in Florida. And they did their first gig, their first appearance, not as Gary Lewis and the Playboys, but as Gary and the Playboys.
Oh, okay.
And because Gary wanted to do it on his own, he wanted to feel as though if he and his small band of musicians were going to make it, they wanted to know that they made it because of their music and not because necessarily of their connection, although people don't know that the connection was Patty Lewis and not Jerry Lewis in the beginning.
Wow.
And Jerry, if you have any questions or you want to direct me a certain way,
Well, I
jump
want
in.
to interrupt you because I was one of those people, and all my friends, we didn't know who your dad was. Okay? We knew
Yeah.
you. I mean, that was it, So,
Well,
okay.
I think that was mainly because we didn't do the same thing.
Hmm.
You know, we didn't do the same thing. So how could you be compared to somebody that you didn't even know was involved?
Right, right.
Yeah.
So,
Of course,
go ahead,
Gary had Jerry. If I can interrupt, Gary did have some previous experience in motion pictures and with his dad because he appeared in, I guess, at least two movies with his dad, and one, Rockabye Baby, was a very prominent role that Gary had in the movie with his father. But of
Yeah.
course, by the time he became a rock and roll star, he looked different. He was now grown up.
Yeah. Well, it was three pictures.
Three.
three.
Yeah. Even though I was cut out of the first one.
Oh, that's right. The Nutty
Yeah.
Professor.
Yeah, Nutty Professor. I had a scene of me talking at a bar, and I was only 17. So, standards and practices of California said no,
Why?
can't do that, because I was underage and I was sitting at a bar.
Okay.
So I was cut out, but I still show all those clips when I'm doing live shows.
That's
It's
amazing.
great.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay, Rick?
And yeah, and by the way, Jerry, originally you and I talked about my doing, 15 minutes or so, and then bringing Gary in. But I think we're
We're
good
good?
now that
Okay. But-
we'll just have a conversation.
Okay.
But-
But wait,
but-
I want to tell you
go ahead.
something, Rick. I want you to tell everyone about both your books right now first.
Okay,
Yes.
book number one is called The Real. It's funny, it disappears when I hold it up. There it is. It's the real Jerry Lewis. He
It's
disappeared.
okay. And say
we
it's
see it
next
right there. We
minute.
see it right there on your thing.
Yeah,
anyway.
on the screen. Okay. The Real Jerry Lewis Story is a book that I wrote along with my lovely wife, Sheila, who is a master of education in English and a retired English professor. And I always say I could have written the book by myself, but nobody would have known what the hell I was talking about. So thank goodness Sheila
Yes.
was. Yeah.
And his wife also is very pretty and very smart.
All right.
Well, yeah. Well, she's very smart and she's very pretty.
I know.
So we agree on that. And like your wife, Gary, who is very pretty and very smart.
What do you mean?
Sheila has hit the highway here because she don't want to be on television.
Oh, okay.
so-
Okay.
She's within earshot then.
Thank you for that.
So now
though.
your second book is coming out soon, correct?
Yes, the second book is coming out hopefully by July or August, and it's called I Thank My Lucky Stars.
All right.
And if I were to write a book about me, nobody would buy it. But the fact in this book, I've got now it's up to about 120 celebrities that I've worked with, that I've known, and many that I've represented. And I've got anecdotes and stories. And of course, Jerry Lewis will be in the book. There's no controversy in I Thank My Lucky Stars. It's lighthearted stuff, but there's the Three Stooges and Nipsey Russell. And there's going to be a little anecdote about each one of the stars. A lot more in the chapter with Jerry and Soupy Sales and some of the others. But Nipsey Russell, who you see on the cover, I have to figure out which way to point here. Nipsey Russell, here you go. He was an incredible comedian, but he gave me one of the best bits of advice that I put in the book. But, I was a kid and I wanted to be a comedian. And I said, what advice would you give me? And he said, Rick, he said, make sure if you're being introduced as a comedian, when you walk out on that stage, you make the audience laugh within the first 15 seconds that you're on the stage. Otherwise, you're going to be digging your way out of a hole. You got to do it right away.
Very
Yeah.
cool. All
And
right.
let me just say one thing about
Okay.
the real Jerry Lewis story. I read a whole bunch of it, and I was very pleased to see that it was the absolute truth, and that's why I recommend it.
Well,
that's
thank
very
you for sharing that bit because, I mean, you're the son. So thank you.
Yeah.
And I read the book and it was amazing. All right, Rick, I love you, man. Hang tight. Stay here. You have questions you could ask, but now be quiet, baby. It is now
My
Gary
turn.
Lewis' turn.
Yay.
So, Gar,
Yes.
before we start, could we, give the audience something special and play one of your songs?
Sure.
Let's do that first, producer, because everybody, Gary Lewis from Gary Lewis and the Playboys, we're going to play his #1 single, This Diamond Ring, which was the first of string of hit singles in 1965 and 66, correct?
Yes.
Okay, here we go. And then you'll talk about it.
Yeah.
Who wants to buy this diamond ring? She took it off her finger now, it doesn't mean a thing. This diamond ring doesn't shine for me anymore, and this diamond ring doesn't mean what it did before. So if you got someone whose love is true, let it shine for you. This stone is genuine, like love should be. And if your baby's truer than my baby was to me, this diamond ring can be something beautiful, and this diamond ring can be dreams that are coming true. And then your heart won't have to break like mine did, if there's love behind it. This diamond ring can be something beautiful, and this diamond ring can be dreams that are coming true. And then your heart won't have to break like mine did, if there's love behind. This diamond ring doesn't shine for me anymore, and this diamond ring doesn't mean what it did before. So if you got someone whose love is true.
Gary, please tell us all about this song, everything.
Everything about that song. Okay, well, we were playing a job out at Disneyland in 1964, and my Liberty Records producer was out at the park with his family, and he came up to me after the show and gave me his card, said, "I'm head of A&R at Liberty Records. You guys sound really good. I'd like to talk to you about doing some recording." Now, isn't that the way everybody wishes it would happen?
Yes.
Yes, and that's exactly the way it happened to me.
Yay.
So I went in and talked to him about it. He played a demo of this diamond ring. And I said, "Well, I really don't like that demo. I don't care for the demo." He said, "That's all right. Our arranger is Leon Russell, and he'll tailor it right to fit you. So don't worry about it."
Okay.
I said, "Okay, I'm in." And then we recorded it, and 6 weeks later, it was #1 in the country.
All right. So that was in 65?
That was November '64.
Oh, 64. Okay.
Yeah,
So how old were you then?
19.
So now I have a question for you.
Okay.
Well, actually, before I ask you this question, I have to say something first. So you were one of the rarities in this business because a lot of people will know the songs. A lot of people might know the person's name, but not the song.
Right.
Everyone knew your name and your songs. And that is the truth.
Ah, great.
Okay.
I never thought about that.
But that is the truth. This diamond ring, oh my gosh, Gary Lewis. Gary Lewis, oh my gosh, this diamond ring. I mean, that was amazing to me because I've interviewed so many legends, thank you God. And a lot of it, like Mel Carter, everyone knows his name and everyone knows his
Sure.
one song. You know what I mean? But
Yeah.
not many, I got to tell you. They'll know the songs and maybe not the artist. They'll know the group, but maybe not the songs. So
Right,
you
right.
are rare. So now, let me ask you something. Growing up, who were some of your musical influences?
Growing up, well, when I started growing up,
I love this.
I was 9 years old when Elvis came out,
Here it is.
and I loved Elvis.
Yay!
And we used to put on, me and my cousins, which were 3 girls, we put on shows. We would just put music on and dance to Elvis, and we're flinging each other around, and the parents were going, "Oh, that's wonderful, yay!" So that's when it all started for me.
That's when it all
And
started for me too. Continue.
yeah, and so as I was growing up, I listened to the rock and roll stations all the time, all the time. Actually, since, geez, 19, well, I loved Elvis all through until 1957, and then I started liking everybody else too that was on the radio. So many great people and great songs. I was a big fan of Del Shannon.
Oh yeah.
There were so many great songs because back then there was no FM. All songs,
Yeah.
all types of songs were on AM pop
Yeah.
radio.
98.1. I grew up in New York. Yes.
Yeah, there were even country songs on AM pop radio. So I got filled in on country artists even too. And I liked the variation of radio back in those days. They just put anything on, and James Brown was on those channels, so it was just a treat. I love it. I couldn't wait to wake up and put the radio on.
Yeah.
And I had a transistor radio that was waterproof, so I put it in the shower with me when I was showering,
It's amazing.
listening to the music and singing right along. It was great.
Do you know what's amazing? Think about when we were growing. I mean, I'm a little bit younger than you, just a little bit. But think about when we were growing up and we had our transistor radios and all that. And then we'd get in the car with our parents, put on this station, blah, blah, blah. We didn't have technology. And look how
Right.
famous you guys became without all of it. The whole
Yeah.
world knew you guys.
I know. It's just it. I think it was just meant to happen. I really do because that was music was my life even before I got into it. and I had drum lessons from Buddy Rich for 7 years and didn't even know who he was.
That's pretty cool.
He was just a guy that came over and visited my dad every now and then, and he'd say to me, "Come on, kid, let's go out in the other room and play the drums. I'll show you some stuff." And that happened from when I was 5 to 12.
Okay.
And when I got to be 12, I realized who he was. Can you imagine drum lessons for Buddy Rich?
Nope.
So
Gary,
yeah,
I have a question.
yeah.
Your mother's music and your music were in two different ends of the world. She was a big band singer, and now you are singing rock and roll. Did she have any suggestions for you, or what did she think about the rock and roll music as opposed to her music?
Well, I don't know what she felt about the music, but I knew that whatever I wanted to do, she would back me up. You know, uh, so she got into it. I mean, we had 7 top 10s in a row, and the only other group that ever did that was the Love and Spoonful. Not even
Oh,
the Beatles.
okay,
You
cool.
know, so I mean, I was so glad and so happy, and I was overly happy at one point, after Diamond Ring went to #1, and then Snuffy Garrett, our producer, said, "Hey, don't get so excited. Do you realize how many one-hit artists there are in the world?" And he said, "We got to get #2 and #3, and then we might be on our way." And that was the best advice I could have ever heard.
Well,
You know,
first off, you were also very rare as far as lead singer drummer. You don't hear
yeah.
of that. You don't hear of that ever.
Well, that's just what I started playing drums, and people always ask me, "Wasn't that hard to sing and play drums at the same time?" Well, it was not hard whatsoever
Wow.
for me, and to sing. It just wasn't. Um,
It
but
came natural.
people would say, "Yeah, but we can't see you behind the drums. You're behind all those cymbals and drums and everything, and you're way in the back." So what I tried was risers to put me up real high so people could see.
Did it work?
Well, it worked for a while, but then I started getting real antsy. I had so much more energy than just sitting down the whole time.
Okay.
I said, I got to hire a drummer and go out and play guitar.
Okay.
So now I could see the people's faces and who I'm playing to, and their smiles, and they're mouthing the words right along with me. I said, yeah, this is it.
I used to go out to a ton of shows and I would do lives for all the entertainers, Vito Pacone, all of them. And I would tell them, move out of the way. I need to see the drummer. I used to be married to a drummer. I'm like, I need to see the drummer. And they would laugh and move out of the way. And, the drummer would
Sure.
wave and say thank you.
Yeah, I know, and it was all great, and it was really great because I set the tempos.
Yeah.
The drummer always sets the tempos, of all the songs, and because I always believed that when you're playing live, you need to do it a little faster than the record.
Okay.
Excitement.
Okay.
Keep the excitement up.
Well, I have a surprise for you now, Gary. So,
Okay.
producer, let's play our next song.
You know I
Oh my gosh, so beautiful. Talk about that song.
What a wonderful treat. Thank you for that.
I know a guy. Just let's say I know a guy. He's sitting next to you. He sent
Oh.
it to me.
Oh, yeah.
Beautiful.
Hey,
What do you
Rick,
think of that? Come on, talk about it.
well, it was kind of cutting in and out.
Not to
but-
the outside. The outside heard it perfect.
Yeah, they heard it.
Yeah.
plainly.
Okay, that's good.
So what
Talk
does that
about-
song? What does that song mean to you?
Oh, me?
Yes.
Oh, it was just a thrill to hear my mom sing. That's all I know.
She's amazing.
I mean, she would always say to me, "Come to the piano with me. We'll play some songs." So I sat there on the piano bench with her, and she was playing all these 40s hits. And I amassed a wonderful repertoire of 40 songs in my head, and I've still got my car radio programmed to 40s music also. And occasionally I'll hear her,
Oh.
and it's just I mean, I love my mom. She
Aw.
was the greatest.
Beautiful.
And
Wow.
she gave me the wonderful foundation of taking me to church when I was young.
Yep. She's
Yeah.
smiling down at you. Don't worry about that.
Yeah, I know.
Yep. That's
I know.
amazing.
By the way, that song that you played, Jerry, Patty Palmer was singing at the time with the Jimmy Dorsey Orchestra, which was one of the biggest in the country.
Yeah.
And a little bit of research, even after my book was written, I'm still coming up with great stuff, which means that there's going to have to be another book. But everybody forever thought that when Gary was born, or actually when Patty was in a family way with Gary, she retired from her singing career. But it appears now that she came back, and there were several nightclubs in New York City and a few in New Jersey where she sang and continued her career even after Gary was born.
Wow.
Of course, the difference is when Patty recorded her music, there were no 45s yet. There were no 33 and a thirds yet.
Oh.
All of her
Right.
music was on 78s.
Oh.
Yes.
And I've got a whole collection of Patty 78s.
Oh my
So do I.
But the
gosh.
sad part about it is you couldn't play, you couldn't play Patty's music anymore because nobody had 78s anymore and
Well,
everything was 45.
right. But
and
you know something? I went to a record archive store here in Rochester, New York, and I was just looking at all the old records, and I found many recordings of my mom on 78. And I said to the guy, "Can you transfer this to a CD for me?" And he said, "Yeah, we can do that." I went, "Oh my goodness, I had no idea you could do that."
That's where technology is amazing. That
know,
is where
I know.
technology is amazing. Because now we can hear your mom's songs. This is amazing.
Yeah.
Because it was 1944, right, Rick?
Yes.
This is
Yeah, well, she
amazing.
started with the bands in 43 with the Ted Fiorito
Okay.
orchestra, and then she moved on to Tommy Dorsey. Unfortunately, she didn't transition the way some of them did, because as the big band era ended, the girl singers who became popular, like Peggy Lee and
Yeah.
and some of the others, they left the bands and went out on their own. And
Right.
I don't know if Patty really had the desire to do that. Plus, children kept popping up, and there were lots of children in Gary's family there,
Okay.
and Patty was also a very dedicated mother,
Yes.
and I think that's where her focus was.
It's beautiful.
That's right. But
Oh.
when she went back to play again to sing again in 1944, nobody told me.
Oh.
I mean,
I know.
nobody ever told me that story,
Oh.
Yeah.
that she went back.
She did go
beautiful.
back. As a matter of fact, there was a nightclub in New Jersey called the Blue Mirror,
Oh.
and she was booked to sing at the Blue Mirror in 1947.
Where in New
Oh,
Jersey?
no.
I'm from New Jersey too. Where?
Well, I'm from New Jersey too.
I
Well,
know.
it doesn't exist, and that club hasn't
No, but
existed.
where though? I'm just curious as the area.
North Jersey.
Oh, okay.
Most of these clubs
Forget about it.
were in the New York metropolitan
Gotcha.
area.
Yep.
Yeah, yeah.
And so she sang there. And also on the bill is an extra added attraction for one night only. The print ad says Jerry Lewis and Dean Martin will be making a guest appearance.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
And it's funny that Jerry's name went first. But either Dean and Jerry did that to support your mom, Gary, or your mom asked them to come in to support them, because they didn't really get off to the big start that everybody thinks about and knows about.
No,
They
I
needed some
know
help
that.
along the way.
Amazing.
Yeah, and you one time showed me that everybody on that show autographed a big piece of paper, and my mom autographed it, and my dad autographed it.
That's amazing.
Where you going, Rick?
I knew he
Yeah.
was going to
Gee,
find a big piece of
Funny
paper.
you should mention that, Gary.
There you go.
That's amazing.
I got to kill my background here. All right.
Oh my gosh, that's
A
amazing.
fan sent this to me. This is a large reproduction
Isn't that great?
of it. But this was actually a page from from like a loose leaf binder, and
Yeah.
this fan, it was actually signed the night that they opened in Detroit, when they first met, the first night they worked together. And the guy told me that he got this because his dad got the autograph of Ted Fiorito, the band members, and Patty Palmer. What he didn't realize, though, Jerry Lewis was the intermission act that night, doing his record mime,
Right.
and his signature was also on this
Right.
on this paper. So
That's
that was
crazy.
truly amazing
I thought that was great.
that they both signed it.
You know, I love all that stuff from way back. I don't know why, what happened to me. I think I was born too late, but I love that information. I'm going to be interviewing Hal Keshner and his mom, Joyce Keshner, this month live in studio. I just met her. I knew about her son. Hal's a great keyboardist, incredible, right? And he played. I'm not sure if he was with Jay Black but anyway. Okay, guess what? I meet her, and she's in her 90s. She's in the Book of World Records for one of the first female keyboards. Okay,
Wow.
she's coming live in studio. So I love this stuff. Your mom is, talk about a legend. Forget it. Right? I mean, she's above legendary. So that song is amazing. Rick, thank you honestly for sending me that song to play.
No, you're very welcome.
It brought tears to my eyes and my producer when we were listening to it. Okay? Gary, that's amazing. Wow.
Yeah.
Amazing.
I can't say enough good things about my mom. That's
Amazing.
that was her life. That's how
Yes.
she lived it.
How many siblings did you have? Because he made a mention of it.
5 brothers.
Oh, okay. Oh, all brothers. All right.
Yeah, 6 boys.
Six
And
boys.
when I tell people that, the first thing they say is, "Oh, your poor mother."
Well, I didn't want to say that, but I was kind of thinking it now.
I know, but she was wonderful. You know,
Amazing.
she loved us all. She proved it just time and time again.
Oh.
And so hearing her sing is just
Amazing.
it's a treat for me, you know.
So everybody, that was Patty Palmer. That was Gary's mom. Incredible, incredible legend. So I'm honored to even have played that song. So now
Yeah, great.
let's give everybody another treat. We're going to play another song, and then we're going to have you talk about this song, okay? Here we go.
Okay.
If you need someone to count on, count me in. Someone you can rely on through thick and thin. When you start to count the ones that you might ever doubt,
Gary, before we talk about that song, I have someone very important to me on the line. His name, we call him Brother O. He's the producer of WBNM Beverly Nation, and that's another network I'm on. He just wants to say hello to you. Say hello to Gary Lewis.
Sure.
Hey, Mr. Lewis, how you doing?
It's hard for them to hear you. He's saying, hello, Mr. Lewis, how are you?
Oh, I'm great. Thank you very much.
It's hard to
I-
hear.
I appreciate that you wanted to say something.
Okay? You got to say hello, okay? We'll talk later, baby. Bye. So many people are texting me. Oh my gosh, Ina Vasquez, she's watching the show. We love you, Ina. Kenny Kojak already called me this morning. Listen, he's trying to get an interview with you. He said he's talked to either your wife or I forget who he talked to. But listen, Kenny Kojak, you're my boy. I love you. He's listening. He loves you, Gary.
Oh, good.
Okay? So
Right.
now let's talk about that song, please.
Okay. Well, that was the one that came right after this diamond ring.
Okay?
And because of the importance of the second song, we recorded all night. We recorded like 4 complete whole songs, and Snuffy just said, "No, it's not the one. It's just not the one." And just then, about 4 in the morning, this guy, who everybody knew, his name was Glenn D. Harden,
Okay.
and he wrote "Count Me In." He came into the studio and said, "I just finished this. Let me play it for you, and so you can hear and everything." And so Snuffy said, "That's the one. That's the one. Let's record it right now. We're all set up already." I said, "It's 4 in the morning, though." He says, "Sometimes that's your best recordings."
Oh.
So we recorded "Count Me In" with him playing the piano riff, and that song went to number 2 in the country.
So imagine that now. Now think about that, right? And I'm sure you have. You know, the first song goes to number 1, second song goes to number 2. Coincidence?
Right.
Huh.
No, not really, because the third one went to number 2 also.
Okay, it's amazing.
And the 4th song went to number 4. 5th song went to number 2. 6th tune went to number 7. And the 7th one went to 9.
Amazing. Rick, before we play another song, do you want to say anything about it?
Well, yeah. In my research, I found an interesting fact. Gary, his first 7 releases went to the top 10.
Crazy.
Dean Martin took 17 years for him to have 7 songs
Okay.
in the top 10.
Okay.
Honest to goodness. Yeah.
That's
Yeah,
incredible.
I know. It's so rare that the Beatles didn't even do it.
No. Listen, I'm on cloud 9. Okay, this is so cool. I just so am. All right, so now, producer, let's play our next song, and then we're going to have you talk about it.
Okay.
Here we go.
Green grass round my window, young leaves that the wind blows. Yes, it's springtime, golden sunshine,
All right, green grass, baby. Let's talk about it.
Well, that song was written by two guys out of Nashville, Tennessee, and it was a submitted song into Liberty Records. So when we were looking for another song, Snuffy Garrett pulled out all his demos that were sent in to Liberty Records, and he picked this one. He said, "I think you could do a great job on this one." And Leon Russell and Snuffy both thought that would be the one. Also, Leon Russell put a great arrangement to that song and played all the keyboards on it. And it's a very keyboard song, And so we recorded it and it went to number 9 in the country.
Oh, it's amazing.
1966.
I was 5, baby. All right, Rick, what do you want to say?
Well, I think on the whole, you'll find that, the Beatles, they did songs that, each decade, their music kind of reflected what was going on in that decade. And a lot of those songs today don't make a lot of sense to younger people listening to them, not understanding what was going on back then.
Right.
You'll notice that most of Gary's songs you could play anytime, anywhere, and they don't have that time stamp on them. They're just good music,
Right.
and like Green Grass, and even this Diamond Ring, which people often believe that This Diamond Ring was a very happy song. Well, it's actually a very sad
No, it was
song,
a sad song,
Yeah.
of course.
done in a happy way.
Right.
Right. Yeah, like people have actually said to me, I love that song. We got married to that song.
Okay.
I said, well, you realize it's a breakup
Oh my
song,
God, I love it.
but who cares? They liked it,
You know? But Rick, you said something interesting that a lot of young people don't understand the meaning of those songs. Well, a lot of old people don't understand the meaning of the new songs that are coming out. So I think we're all on the same page.
Well,
Well,
I stopped watching television when color came in, so I can understand that.
Oh my gosh.
yeah.
Amazing.
Well, I mean, I just wish that the youth of today just do a little homework with what was happening
No,
back
but they
then.
do. Oh no, but they do. So, all right, listen to me, and this is my mouth
Well,
to
that
God's
is-
ears. I'm
That
not,
is kind of true because
Yes.
a lot of people in my audience are young people,
yes.
and they say they like it much
That's
better
right.
than what's happening today.
Listen, Garrett,
So
and
a lot of them do.
And I mean this from the bottom of my heart, my mouth to God's ears. I've interviewed a lot of up and coming indie artists. I've interviewed as young as 9 years old that are incredible people on AGT, amazing young artists, right? And I say to all of them, what'd you think about the oldie? They said, if it wasn't for the oldies, we wouldn't be doing what we're doing. And that is
Well,
the truth.
That's wonderful.
Yes.
That is absolutely. I'm really glad to hear
You
that.
know, even Rick at the luncheon, right? Okay, at the
yeah.
luncheon. Okay, that we go to once a month. That's where we met, you and I. So just yesterday was the luncheon, and they had 3 young people that worked there that were just standing there watching the show. And when I got a chance to talk to them, I said, "You guys like this movie?" They said, "What are you kidding? This music?" They said, "What are you kidding me? This is music." So they do, guys. Yes.
Well, good. I'm glad. I'm good. I'm really glad to hear that.
So now, Gar, I'm going to ask you before we play another song. I want to ask you some questions, okay?
Yep.
Do you ever sing like on, the corners?
No, there were no corners in Beverly Hills.
Okay, I was just wondering. I always ask
No.
people that. Did you look for the echoes? Did you go in the bathrooms? Come on.
Well, a lot of singing. When we're on tour and we're warming up, we go into the showers. Because of the great reverb in a shower.
For real?
Yeah, a lot of times we'll play schools.
Okay.
And our dressing room or where the showers are, and we go in and we sing and we tune up our guitars because of the great reverb in the showers, and we stand in there and sing.
So
Really?
Did you have singing lessons? Did you say that or not? You
No.
didn't. I didn't think so. Okay. So,
I
all
do.
right. So you sang in the showers. So when
Yeah.
you were, around the girls, okay? Did you automatically just start singing?
Uh, what do you mean around the
Like
girls?
if like wherever you were, like I don't care where you were.
Oh,
In an
oh,
environment and there were girls there. Did you like say, "Hey, I'm going to sing?" Did you sing?
no.
Why?
I wasn't comfortable with
Oh
that.
yeah.
I was young too,
I know, but oh my
So,
gosh, they
so
would have loved it.
no, I wasn't comfortable with that.
Okay.
I wasn't that confident in myself yet.
Okay. Oh, I wish you were because, honey, they would have loved it. They'd be talking
Yeah,
about that to this day.
Jerry.
Yes.
Jerry, can I interrupt?
Yes.
There's something that hasn't been touched on yet, which I really think is very important.
Okay.
We're talking about Gary Lewis and the Playboys in the past, but Gary Lewis and the Playboys are as busy now as they've been all these years. The band still exists. They still travel. I don't remember now how many weeks out of the year, but Gary Lewis and the Playboys is still a very popular in-person concert.
Let's talk. Let's talk about it. Come on.
Well, great. Yeah. I mean, we still play.
When do you go back to Vegas, Gary? When are you playing Vegas again?
I'm not sure, but we play the Golden Nugget in Las Vegas twice a year usually.
Oh.
And we've played the South Point. We've played the Sun Coast. So I like going to Las Vegas. Plus, that's where one of my brothers is, and and my nieces and nephew are there. So every time I go there to play, I get to see them. So it's a wonderful thing, and I like playing Las Vegas. But we still play all the time, like. This 4th of July, we're going up to play a festival in Milwaukee, Wisconsin. And then the next night, we're doing a show for the veterans
Oh.
in Omaha, Nebraska. We played it last year also. I love to do shows for the veterans and their families.
Yes.
We've done free shows for veterans and their families, and they don't have to pay a thing. And we
Right.
hand out our CDs to them, complimentary, no problem. I love the vets, because of just doing what they did in a real
That's right.
turbulent time.
That's right. So, do
Yeah.
you ever go to the tri-state area or do you ever go to Atlantic City?
We're playing at Atlantic City this August 23rd
What
at
are you
Caesars.
talking about?
What?
I said, what are you talking about? August 23rd at Caesars?
Yes,
All right.
yes.
Producer, write that down right now. August 23rd. I don't care what I have in my book. I am moving it. Okay?
Well, wonderful. Yeah, come.
Oh my gosh. Okay. You just made my day, my world, my life. Oh my
Yeah,
gosh.
good.
If
Good.
I come, I have to meet you and hug you. I have to.
Absolutely.
Okay? So I'll have him hook us up, okay?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So now, as far as today with you guys entertaining, okay?
Yeah.
And you spoke about the vets. So, do you know the name Carlos Evans?
No, I don't
Okay,
think so.
and you probably shouldn't. So, he's written a book now, and you might want to check it out called Standing Together with him and his wife.
Uh-huh.
I got to meet him 2 Sundays ago, Memorial Weekend, at a church. And they brought him up on stage, and he hopped up out of his wheelchair. He was a sergeant in the U.S. Marine Corps and in Afghanistan. He, of course, stepped on a mine. He lost
Yeah.
both his legs and a left hand, but they had to put bars in his legs for him to even have prosthetics. He speaks
Yeah.
all over the country. He even told his wife to leave him and go on with her life. He said, the kids will be afraid of me. And she said, we are not going anywhere. And his book is called Standing Together. He is an amazing hero. So, and I want to thank you for serving them as well. You know, Gary, I mean, amazing, right?
Yeah, yeah. I think they're the real heroes.
Yes. Well, wait,
All-
they are the real heroes. But
They
I want
are.
to say this about musicians. Listen, you guys save lives because music even helps them. Music helps everyone. And
Oh, I've
okay,
gotten so many
okay,
letters and everything over the
yes,
years that say my music helped them get through it,
that's right. So
you
just know
know?
that you're a hero as well. So
And
thank you for
I
that.
appreciate that more than anything.
It's the truth, though. I was doing a live through COVID one day, and I got a
Yeah,
message from someone in a hospital saying, Jerry, thank you for these lives. Her nurse propped her phone up so that she could
oh,
hear the singers,
that's great.
So thank you. And never
Yeah,
stop doing what you're doing, baby.
all
So,
right.
all right. So, let me just say something about your group today. So,
Sure.
obviously, you sing all your songs. Do you sing any other covers from other groups?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
I do songs by people that I really loved hearing on the radio before I got into rock and roll. People like James Brown, Del Shannon, Bobby V, just, uh, Beach Boys. The Beach Boys and myself were the only two acts that were able to stay up with the Beatles. Um, in the 60s.
Okay.
There were no other American acts except me and the Beach Boys. Uh, you know, because the Beatles dominated everything. Or
Okay.
the English and
Yeah.
British invasion.
Yeah. Yeah. So wow, amazing. Okay.
Yeah.
So and Elvis, do you sing Elvis?
Do I sing Elvis?
Yeah.
No, but I like to curl my lip up.
Honey, you can curl your lip up anytime. Listen, that concert in New Jersey at the casino, try to
Yeah.
sing an Elvis song.
Oh, we don't do any Elvis
Oh, all
songs.
right. I still love you. All right.
I'm
I love
sorry.
you so much more because you loved Elvis. So we're all good. All right? We're all good. All
I
right.
did. I went to see him at the Las Vegas Hilton in 1971, and somebody heard that I was in the audience and came out to get me after Elvis's show, brought me back to his dressing room, and we're just sitting there talking to him, and he's pouring champagne for us. And just a super nice guy.
Did
He
you give him
really
a
was.
hug? Come on, tell the truth.
No, but I shook his hand.
All right, I would have hugged him. Listen, hey, what the heck? All right.
Yeah.
Well, I never got to see him. I was 16 when he passed, but I have the ticket. My mom was finally going to let me go with my aunt. I have the ticket framed in my Elvis poker room. I'm also a poker dealer, and I had a
All
pink
right.
and purple Elvis poker table made, and I have a
Oh,
2,000
that's
Elvis
great.
chips. But at least I have the ticket. But wow, you got to meet him. That's beautiful.
Yeah. Yeah. He started everything off for
Yeah, it's
me.
beautiful. All right, so now, um, all right, producer, the last song is no, don't do it because that's how we're gonna close, right? Wait,
There's one more song.
before the closing song?
Yeah.
What's the song?
She's just my
Oh,
style.
yes, okay, yes, because we're gonna surprise you at the very, very, very end. Okay,
Okay.
so She's Just My Style. Let's play it. Here we go.
Every time I see her, she don't even look my way. Maybe she will notice me, but then what would I say? I would say what's
Let's hear it. Come on.
Yay! It's a great song. Actually, myself and Leon Russell and Snuffy Garrett wrote that one.
Okay.
And that went to #2 in the country. And it's always been actually one of two of my favorite songs of mine. I like Diamond Ring because it was the first one and it was the only one that we had that went to #1. And musically, I like She's Just My Style the best. It just rocked, you know.
It rocks still.
I love it.
Rick, tell us something about the song. Rick, you're muted.
I don't really have
There you go.
any specific anecdotes about that song, but I will tell you that through the years of my association with Gary and Gary Lewis and the Playboys, people will ask me, well, you're associated with Gary Lewis and the Playboys. Are any of the originals still alive?
Okay.
And I'm
No.
sure they ask you that question too, Gary.
They do.
I mean,
They do. All the time. And no, they're not.
Okay.
but
Aw.
you're one of the originals.
I am. Well, I am. Yes.
Yes, of course. So I mean, that's why it always strikes me funny, because you are Gary
You
Lewis
are
and the Playboys.
the one.
No matter who the Playboys are, you're the
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know?
And I'm glad I'm still doing it. And I still love doing it.
Well-
And I can still rock up there.
You sure can. So I want to give both of you the mic, okay? Let me give Rick the mic first.
Okay.
Take your time, Rick. Anything we didn't cover you want to talk about, the time is now.
Well, I really think that the Gary Lewis story is part of a legendary entertainment family, and it's often overlooked. It's not surprising that Gary went to superstardom, especially in the field of music. Gary's grandfather was Danny Lewis. His wife was Ray. And together they were very big, popular stars in vaudeville. I've got recordings by Danny Lewis. They were wonderful entertainers. And of course, then Patty Palmer Lewis made quite a mark for herself in the business. Then a guy named Jerry Lewis, aside from his comedy, he had some very good recordings. And Rockabye Your Baby went up to, it didn't hit #1, but it went up to #2 or #3 on the charts.
Can I
and
say
then-
one thing about that?
Sure.
I used to kid my dad all the time. He'd come to me and say, "Hey, I had a gold record," and I said, "Yeah, but that's when it was on a cylinder."
That's funny. That's great.
So go
My
ahead.
producer is cracking up, okay? Listen, we're not
Yeah.
that old. Stop it. Go ahead.
I always wondered, they give you a gold record when you sell 1 million copies, or they
Okay.
did when they
Okay.
were able to keep track of how many copies were
Yeah.
sold. But if you had a 45 and you'd get a gold record, let's say for this Diamond Ring, shouldn't you have gotten 2 gold records? Because whatever was on the flip side of this Diamond Ring also sold 1 million copies.
Well,
Think about that.
yeah, and that's why my producer never wanted to put a real powerful song on a B-side.
Oh, is that why they do that?
He said it's going to sell, whatever's on the B-side is going to sell just as many as the A-side. So don't, a lot of people, like Ray Charles put What I Say Part 1 and the B-side was Part 2. He just never thought you should put a powerful song on a B-side.
Wait, I got a
believe-
question. Wait, Rick, you can't just talk about that. And I have to ask you something. And I've never heard anybody say that before. Okay,
Right.
so wait, that is so cool.
Yeah.
What was, I don't remember if you said it, but what was the B-side, okay, for Diamond Ring?
It was originally a tune called Leroy's Tune, which was written by a jazz bass player, Leroy Vinegar.
Okay.
But then Snuffy said, that's like a jazz guy's song, and it's a good song and everything, but it's not rock and roll. So he made us change the B side to a thing called Tijuana Wedding,
Okay.
which he and I actually took the writing credit for that. And he wanted to change it because it was more of a rock and roll song.
That is so
Leroy's
cool.
tune was Leroy's tune was a great song. If anybody comes across an original single of Diamond Ring that has Leroy's tune on the backside,
Okay, now I got to look for that because I have a lot of friends who are collectors, and I'll have to bribe them for it if they have it. That's all there is to it. Okay.
right?
Go ahead, Rick. Continue.
I believe Chubby Checker, and I don't remember what the song was, but I'm sure Jerry, some of your fans will know, came out with a 45,
Okay.
and whatever the A side was supposed to be a big hit, and as it turned out, the B side became the big hit, leaving the A side in the dust, and then I think they repressed the records with whatever the song was that became very popular as the A side. But I guess that could happen.
So wait, Chubby
Right,
Checker,
yeah.
real quick, Chubby Checker. So I met him when I was in my 20s. He did a local charity in my town. And I had my back to the stage. I was in my 20s. My hair was down to my waist. I had beauty salon, so I had a lot of curly hair. And my friends are going, turn around, turn around. And I turn around. He's in my face, kisses my lips, his two bodyguards. He picks me up, puts me on the stage, and I got to twist with him. Now,
Oh, good. That's nice.
but a few years ago, pre-COVID, with the Capris, I said, "Get me backstage now." They bring me backstage, and I said to the guy in his uniform, "Listen, he won't remember me, but I'll never forget him. Get him out of his bedroom there. I got to get a photo." He came out, and I was able to meet him again a few years ago. That was
Yeah,
pretty cool. That was pretty cool.
He's still a very nice guy
was
too,
pretty cool.
because we've played shows with Chubby Checker for 60 years.
That was pretty cool. Okay, so
And,
now,
and we just did a cruise with him too.
pretty cool. So now, okay,
Yeah.
Rick, finish. You have a few more minutes for you with the mic. Continue.
That's okay. Yeah, I represented Chubby for a series of some personal appearances, some of the autograph shows. And it's interesting. You become a big star, and people think you're satisfied with life. And Chubby said to me, he said, "Rick, if you could get me voiceover work, I want to do cartoon voices."
Ah,
Well, it never happened because I
Okay.
got busy with Jerry and so on
that's
and so forth.
cool though.
But that's really what at that stage of his career, maybe 15, 16 years ago,
That's cool.
that's what he wanted to do. He wanted to
Yeah,
do cartoon voices.
Very
I
cool.
wanted to do that one time too, but it never panned
It,
out.
it didn't happen. Yeah, I represented several people who did cartoon voices, and they wanted to do the twist. So who
Yeah.
knows? It's a strange business.
I know.
So I have another text message from Ina. Okay, Ina, I already mentioned you once, but we're going to mention you again. She wants to tell Gary she wishes him an early happy birthday that's coming next month. Happy birthday, baby.
Thank you.
I know
Thank
we love you.
everybody. That's wonderful.
Her
Thanks.
husband is Carlos Vasquez, and he sings. Okay, and he's amazing. And yep. So we love you guys.
Great.
Yep. So okay. So now, okay, Rick, continue. A couple more minutes for you.
Okay, well, I'm actually enjoying listening to Gary because as long as
Okay.
I've known him and as long as I've known the family, there's always new and interesting facts that arise. I will tell you that Gary is also known for one very kind thing that he did for one person in particular, and that was something that he did for his sister, which a lot of people still don't know about. It's in the book, The Real Jerry Lewis Story, and talks about how Gary, in my opinion, should be the one who was entitled to a humanitarian award because he did something really kind for Susan, who is his biological half sister.
Okay.
And it's a fascinating story, and it's something that people should read about because there are sides of Gary that he doesn't often talk about because Gary suffers from a disease called terminal humility, and there's so much to the Gary Lewis story and to the whole family, and fortunately and thank God, Gary's story still continues.
That's right. Well, Rick, I want to thank you first and foremost for not only connecting me with this legend, for being part of this great show and being our special co-host. It was amazing, and I loved your book. Of course, I read it, and everybody get the book. I mean this, okay? Listen, before you even get my book, get that book, because that book is off the charts. We all grew up wanting to know everything that's in that book. Okay, guys? So do it. Or else, because I know a guy.
And don't forget, it's available on Amazon.
There you go. Listen, I know a guy. Get the book. All right. Now,
And it's the truth, too.
listen, this is Jerry Lewis's son, Gary Lewis, who's saying the book is truthful. Got it? All right.
It is true.
So now, Gar, I'm going to give you the mic. You have as long as you need. I don't want you to get off and say, oh, I should have said this, or I forgot to say that. I wanted to talk
Right,
about
right.
this. The mic is yours.
Okay, well, I just want to let people know about our website. It's Gary Lewis and the Playboys.com, and it's got pictures from the past up to the present. It's got our tour dates on it. It's got business inquiries. You can inquire about what we're doing, and a little place for you to just write notes to us. And, hopefully we'll see everybody at one of our shows somewhere, because I don't plan to stop doing this. And I believe I'll probably still be doing this if I need a walker.
Well, okay, listen, that's not funny, but you did make me giggle a little bit there, okay, because
Sure. I mean, I'm a singer.
even
just
if
put-
you need a
put
walker, you'll
right.
sing incredible, right?
Yeah.
So, all right, so now,
Yeah, that's the first time I've told anybody about the August 23rd at Caesars in Atlantic City. So I just want to mention that one more time. That's good.
you guys hear that? That's right, in Atlantic
right.
City. Did you hear that?
Or 4th of July in Milwaukee.
I know, but Milwaukee. Let's talk about Atlantic City.
Yeah.
This
Okay.
is so amazing. I'm not sure, but listen, she deserves a hello. Hold on a minute. Let's see if she can pick up. Ina. They're
Okay.
all excited. I'm getting a zillion texts. I can't let everybody do this.
Hello.
Okay, say hello.
Hello.
Say hi, Gary.
Hi, Gary. How are you? I am a big fan.
She's a big
thank
fan.
you very much. I appreciate that. I heard that.
Happy early birthday.
Thank you very much for remembering.
Now, tell everyone who your hubby is.
My husband is Carlos. He's a singer as well.
And in what group? Come on.
The Expressions.
The
Oldies
Expressions. Oldies
All
group.
right.
Carlos Vasquez. I love you, girl. Thank you.
Group. Thank you. Great show.
Bye, honey.
Thank you.
I know, listen, everybody's going to be mad at me. I can't get everybody on the phone. I'm sorry. They're all texting me. That's why I keep looking at the phone. All right, so now, Gar, what you're doing is amazing. And again, even if, God forbid, you have to be in a walker or a wheelchair, you're still going to sing, okay?
I'm still going to sing.
That's right. That's right. All right, so again, Rick, you know how much I love you and thank you for this honor. But, Gary,
Yeah.
you have honored me here on the Geri Petito Show and Hamilton Radio like I can't even tell you. Okay?
Well, I appreciate it,
Oh my gosh.
You're easy to talk to, too, because you know your stuff.
Well, like I said, I feel like I was born too late. I don't know why, but that's my music. All the oldies, you know? I mean,
That's
listen, you
wonderful.
can't take the rock out of me, Led Zeppelin, Genesis, Foreigner. I mean, of course. You know, all music's amazing, right? You can't
Yes.
take that out of me. But I am an oldies girl. And, you know, thank you, thank you. So I want to read a poem out of my book before we close, and I'm going to play something special to close, okay?
Okay.
And again, I love you and thank you, and I'm hoping to meet you, okay, at the casino. Okay, we're going to
you will.
connect.
You
Okay,
will.
all right,
Yeah.
all right. So this poem I wrote, it's called "Utilizing Gifts and Talents." And the reason I like to read this poem when I do artists is because a lot of people like this show in particular, they're going to say, oh my gosh, he's still singing. I wish I could sing. You know, whatever the case may be, right? Everybody questions their self-worth like you did when you were younger. But unfortunately today, a lot of older people still question their self-worth. So this poem is for people who feel like they have nothing to offer. All right? Listen to every word of it. It's for you. We are born with talents. We are born with drive, with different gifts to help us thrive. I knew early on I was born to draw and paint, to also write poetry and to talk without restraint. Our gifts and talents should all be used, God's gift to us, not be abused. We can go far in life for sure, using our gifts to go on tour like these guys are doing, especially Gary. All our talents should be used to create ourselves and more, but then our job's to share them, to even up the score. You see, in life, what's needed is not just for ourselves. Once our gifts are mastered, take them off the shelves. A living we can make by spreading them around, not just for the money, but to spread a peaceful sound. So don't take for granted the gifts you're given. Go out and spread the joy. Our gifts are not to be held back for us to self-destroy. Put your efforts forth. Do not hesitate. All your talents, my friend, are never second rate. Never hold them back or you will surely die. Maybe not in body, but your soul will cry. Our gifts were made to share, our talents made to soar. Go through life enlightened, then you can roar. Be proud of who you are, be happy you're alive. Once again, my friend, your gifts will help you thrive. By putting efforts forth, not keeping them at bay, your name, Gary Lewis, and the Playboys, baby, will live forever, forever and a day. So go through life excited for what you sure can give. To yourself and others is our reason to live. Our grave will be quite lonely, but our legacy lives on. So make sure people smile with the breaking dawn. And that's what that's what you're
nice.
doing. Thank you. That's what you're doing through the Playboys, okay, through your mom. I mean, think about it all, right? Your dad, I mean, everything about it. So I think you're incredible. And again, I'm so honored and I thank you. And my producer, of course, would like to say something to
I
you.
have a real quick question for you, Gary. Were you
Sure.
involved with working with the Wrecking Crew at all in the 60s? With some of your songs?
The Wrecking Crew only helped us on solos because, you know, we were 19 years old. We didn't know anything about
Right.
soloing. So we put down the basic tracks and then we called in whoever we needed from the Wrecking Crew. Like Hal Blaine did some drumming for us.
Yeah.
Joe Osborne did some bass work,
Right.
and Tommy Tedesco did some guitar. Tommy Tedesco did the greatest guitar on I'm Sure Gonna Miss Her.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that's another hit. And also, don't forget, I got to tell people, Save Your Heart for Me was another favorite song, and Everybody Loves a Clown. I try to play all them together when I play a little Gary
Now he's going to be
Lewis
playing them all
concert.
at one time, okay?
I love it. I love your
Okay.
songs.
Okay.
I love everything. And one other question: when you did the music for Way Way Out, what inspired you to do that song for the
Yeah,
soundtrack?
you know,
'Cause
I
nobody
tried
knows
that.
about that. A lot of people don't know about that.
Well, you know, that was the title of a movie my dad did, Way Way Out, and he asked me to do the title theme. So, I listened to it and everything, and it was an awfully hard song to do
Oh,
because all of the lines, nothing rhymed, so there was nothing for the mind to go to.
Right.
oh
You know,
my
you know,
gosh.
I would sing a line, and then usually at the end there's some kind of rhyme or some kind of word that gets you into the next line. But that song had none of that. None of that. It was just rambling words, you know. But I mean, it had a connection for the movie, but it was a very hard song to do. We tried doing it live once, and it was just it didn't go over at all. First of all, people didn't know what I was even doing, you know.
Right.
So I said, no, let's stick to the hits.
Okay, well, thank you, Gary. Thank you for your time with Jerry today. And oh my God, what a great
Sure,
interview.
thank
We love
you
your music.
all.
We love you, and just keep on doing what you're doing.
All right.
He's
I
as
will.
excited as I am. He's as excited as I am, okay? We haven't
Oh,
stopped
great.
talking about this. So we're going to do something a little different to close the show.
Yeah.
Okay. And again, thank you from the bottom of my heart, both of you. Okay. Amazing. Everybody
Thanks.
share this show. Are you kidding me? Okay.
I'll-
Gary
I'll see you
Lewis
at-
from the
See
Playboys.
you at Caesars.
That's right, baby. Okay. So
Okay.
now we're going to do something a little different. We're not playing my theme song. We're going to play your theme song. That is
Okay.
how we are going to close the show. Hit it.
All right.
Man, here's a great noise from Gary Lewis and the Playboys.
Things go better with Coca-Cola. Things go better with Coke. Life is much more fun when you're refreshed. And Coke refreshes you best. We'd never make it through a record session without Coke. The studio's full of empty bottles when we're finished. And you know, we never get tired of drinking Coca-Cola. We drinking Coke after Coke after Coke.